In what ways does my media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? In the pre-production work, my calendar of a real film would be much bigger and would last longer, as I would need more time to need to film a lot more scenes. Also, unlike our film, they'll be able to film most days of the week because they have all their workers under contract, and this is their job, so they won't have any college interrupting them like we do. They also leave time for more filming after production, just in case they need to film reshoots, so they have a lot more time to work with than we do. They normally have a calendar year or two. My pitch included an audience profile, costume and props, narrative, a film concept, characters, setting, location, lighting, themes and sounds, whereas a real film would be pitched to a company with a script, some recce's and an actor list for those people interested in being in the film. I think if I was to do a film again, I'd do it more similar. If I was doing a silent film again, I'd do a step outline and give them recce's early on, put in my pitch. During production, the narrative, we did a 3-part narrative for our film, which we got from Castaway, as it is similar to that structure. He gets to the island and his initial response is a panicky stare, and then comes to terms with his situation and starts to have flashbacks of his stressful life. Then in the final part, we found that he's given up because he's tried and failed continuously to survive, and then he wakes up from his illusion. As we were inspired by Castaway's narrative structure, it is quite similar to most films. Unlike Castaway, we have a non-linear narrative because we use flashbacks to give the audience extra information. If we had more film time, I think we could have avoided using flashbacks and instead given more story for the character through a linear narrative. Equipment. Unfortunately, due to the equipment we had, we were unable to make the film we wanted. The tripods were mostly broken, so we had to do a lot of freehand shots, which made the film in parts shaky, so it was quite tough. Plus the camera struggled to make it in focus a lot of the time, so sometimes the film was a bit blurred, but we carried on, we persisted. We decided to do a silent film because the microphone on the camera wasn't very good for sound. So next time we film, we'd like to have a boom mic so we could have a better sound in the film. So I think it was the right decision at the time to not use sound, but in other films that we do, I think we'd want to use it. Real films would have much better technology than ours. The cameras were thousands of pounds and tripods and boom mics, so next time I get a film I'd like to have better equipment. Maybe invest in some. Cinematography, we did use some, because of the camera's state, we had to cinematography. Because of the camera's state, we had to adapt. So sometimes they were blurry, so sometimes we made them for effect. So the lack of focus on some shots can tell the audience that this isn't reality, and how Jim's inability to see what's going on. So he struggles with that, so we see that when it's screen is blurred. We have extreme close-ups of Jim's face, showing his worry and sadness to convey to the audience that he's in a bad place mentally. Panning shots, we use these shots to show the difference between what Jim sees and what reality, what the actual reality is. So we've gone back to scenes in the film that we already used, and we show people watching him, and kind of tell the audience that he's not stuck on the island. We used quite a lot of high angle shots to look down on Jim, as if to make him feel like the world's looking down on him, because this is how he feels, like he's got terrible bad luck, feels like the world's against him. We used a time compression montage. We put a lot of shots together, showing Jim move apart, make him look bored, short of ideas on what to do next, and make it look like he's been there a really long time. My shots were similar to some shots used in film, as we took inspiration from a lot of the films like Rocky Balboa films when they did training montages. I tried to convert them into montages into my film, showing time passing. The lighting, when filming we used natural lighting to get a realistic feel, whereas a real film would have used torches and lamps to get the same lighting throughout the film, because when filming you may be there a long time, the light may change, which is not set up correctly with the film. Therefore our film struggle with getting the same lighting throughout our film. Next time I'll probably use torches the same as real films to get the same lighting throughout, so it looks the same. The mise-en-scène, the costumes we used were just a shirt and tie that the actor owned that we felt fit well with the character. That was in a corporate world, and then his life broke down, which shows his clothes deteriorate over time. He starts with a suit and tie, then he loses the tie, he's unbuttoned, it's all wet, all sandy. In a real film, they would probably have much better costumes that the actor would wear, probably 4 or 5 different costumes per film. But again, we didn't have much time, we only did a 5-minute film, and they would have a lot more time to wear more clothes, but I think we did well with the props and costumes we had. But next time if we ever do a film, I'd like to make it be longer and more costumes and props, so it gives it more personality and convey more feeling for the character. The genre, we made our film as a drama, and I think we succeeded in making it feel like a drama. For instance, we used close-ups of characters, dull light, and a journey that the character went on, a form of realisation at the end of the film. And I think these are the generic things you see in most drama films. I think this will attract people who are fans of the drama genre, because it tackles serious real-life issues and has and at the end we see that it doesn't go well for Jim at the end. He's still alone, even though he's broke out of this kind of dream state that he's having. He goes back to reality and he's still not happy, and that's the real world issues with people who have same things as Jim, like depression, etc. For post-production, editing, we use montage shots. We put shots together in short bits and faded them to show time passing. Jim walking along the beach, Bodo was mine like earlier. And we used a few reverse shots showing other people look at Jim in confusion. Like while he's doing his strange things, he thinks he's on an island trying to survive, and they can see that he's not on an island, and they're confused by what he's doing and they look worried. We've used a lot of the same editing real movies would use, like in Wolf of Wall Street, where there are lots of conversations making use of the shot reverse shot. However, in real films there will be more than one edit to cover a lot more of the film, but because my film was only 5 minutes long, it didn't have that much of an impact on the final product. Sound. Our main character never speaks in the film, but we do include some non-diegetic music in the film to add tension, using instruments like drums and electric guitars. We also use some ambient sounds in the film, which due to the lack of equipment when filming, we had a lot of sound effects during the editing phase. In the future, I'd like to get a boom mic and film a short film of actual talking, so it's easy for the audience to connect with the character. Real films would also add sounds in the editing process, like we did, but they would most likely make sounds like in the editing process, sounds like new species and new things that the audience has never seen before, like in Star Wars, where Ben Burtt created the TIE Fighter engine noise by combining an elephant shriek, a slowed down World War II warbird and a processed jet. I think that would be quite an interesting thing to do, something like that, and I think we could do it next time we do one of these projects.